last segment, and we want to get on to Richard Sherman blaming Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen for Lamar's contract drama. But I just want to address something you said. You said, I hold it against KD that he won the 2 chips on a 73-win Warriors team that he had joined. Or that if he wins the chip this year but Booker wins MVP, I'm going to hold of the finals, I would hold it against KD for a second. For a little bit. I think that you're not looking at it properly, and this is what I mean. You don't start out as the greatest of all time, and then you take things away until you're not anymore. You start out with a clean slate, and then you add things up to see where everyone ranks versus each other, right? Because we're creating a hierarchy, this guy versus that guy. So KD's 2 championship MVPs do not hurt him. They help him. It puts him ahead of where he was previously. But it does not help him as much, in my view, as 2 MVPs on a regular powerhouse team instead of the winningest team of all time, right? If he wins a championship in Phoenix, it enhances his legacy. He moves up, not down, if you're asking which way the arrow points. But not as much as if he wins a championship and wins MVP, unless there are extenuating circumstances. Clearly, it was this way because he was drawing so much attention. He kept making the right play, and but that's what I mean. It's not I'm holding it against someone unless you mean it's in comparison to someone else, because then we are trying to create a hierarchy. So if one guy does the same thing as another guy but does it under different circumstances that in my view, add to the accomplishment, in that case, you might look at it as though I'm holding it against KD. It's not how I look at it. You get more credit for certain things.
Okay, yeah, I understand in your eyes what you give more credit to. I just think whenever, regardless of what team you go to, even if that team has one of the best shooters or best scorers to ever play, and you win NBA Finals MVP, that is still an NBA Finals MVP notch on the belt. But it feels like to you, it gets diminished because of the team. Even though people on the team who have been in the locker room every single day, who know where their team stacks up against the rest of the league that was catching up to the Golden State Warriors, validate the greatness by saying we never win back-to-back chips without Kevin Durant.
I don't discount them to 0, but I do discount them compared to, say, a Jordan MVP in the finals where he went bananas and was clearly the best player in the world.
So it all goes back to how you perform in those high-leverage moments. That's why I asked if Phoenix wins a championship, but D Book is the guy that performs at the highest leverage moment. How does that make you look at KD? Does it still elevate you in the KD conversation of his overall legacy? Because it's not actually him leading the team.
No, but it depends.
It's him still going to somebody else's team. I don't see it that way, but I know some people might look at it that way. Do you look at Phoenix as KD's team or Devin Booker or CP3's team?
Probably CP3.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, I still give KD enormous credit if he wins the finals this year. Yeah.
So, Mr. Kellerman, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Where do you have Steph Curry ranked at right
all
now?
Time?
Legacy? Yeah.
He is
top 10?
Yeah, probably like 10.
And where's
He's 10
Kevin Durant in your eyes?
KD may be like 9 or 9 or 10. I go back and forth on those two.
So 9 and 10,
something like that.
Steph has two more championships.
Let me give you
two more chips.
Let me give you my real
without
ranking.
Kevin Durant.
Wait, hold on, man.
When I do these rankings,
you're right, Kim,
when I do these rankings, KD and Steph float between 10 and 13. The two of them float between 10 and 13.
But you have
10 and 13 they float. Yeah. So a guy who you and Steph Curry basically, I don't want to say annihilated, but had question marks about Steph Curry because he hadn't won an MVP, but he wins an MVP last year in the finals. He's still sitting at 10 for you. So
he wasn't
didn't
at 10 before.
MVP,
he's at 10 now because of the MVP in the
So he was like at 17.
No, he was like at 13. That's what he moved.
So he was at 13.
Yeah.
Okay. So he has how many chips, Jay?
He has 4.
So he has 4 chips and an MVP.
2 without Kevin Durant.
And 2 without Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant joined him. You punished Kevin Durant because he joined him, and he won 2 chips, 2 MVPs. So if Kevin Durant now wins 1 chip in Phoenix, even though it doesn't account to the same amount of chips as Steph Curry, you then now parachute Kevin Durant in front of Steph Curry.
He has him in front of Steph Curry
because you're reducing
he said,
to the only
he said
criteria.
10-13, but Kevin Durant's but Steph Curry's 10.
You're reducing it to the only criteria being championships. Championships are an enormous piece of the puzzle, but they're not the only thing. We all saw when KD and Steph were on the same team, KD was the best player on the team. But Jay has made the argument, and I subscribe
Why are you speaking
to
for
this.
me?
I was going to say, this is not about Jay. This is about,
Because I'm
this is
referring
about
to an
me
argument.
and you,
because
Max,
I'm
because I got...
referring to an argument that I subscribe to, but I'm giving credit to its author.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
That the culture Steph created and the team he creates, because he doesn't need the ball, because he shoots so well, et cetera, everyone wants to play with him, that continues with and without KD. He deserves credit for that. So I'm giving him as in a team sport, even if when they're all on the same team, KD looks better. If Steph wins the title again this year, he would move ahead of KD for me because it says something about what he created in Golden State.
Wait, I have one question, Key, and then I'll let
go ahead, sir.
To finish.
Yeah.
Mr. Kellerman, how do you factor in Steph being the only unanimous MVP in the history of the NBA?
I don't care because he got whooped in the finals by a better player in LeBron James. Regular season MVP does not mean so much to me.
So
That's
before
why
I wrap this up, I got one last question for you, Mr. Kellerman.
Yep.
If, in fact, Kevin Durant wins the championship this year, and given the fact that he had help in your eyes from the Golden State Warriors and winning the 2 championships and the 2 MVPs, does he go in front of Steph Curry right now if he wins that championship?
Yes.
No matter how he wins it, he goes in front of Steph Curry, even though
horribly.
let me finish there, Max. Even though you punish him for joining Steph Curry, and he wins 1 championship.
I started this segment by saying you don't look at it as he punishes. He gets credit. The question is how much credit? Less credit than someone who didn't do it on a 73-win team that didn't lose anything.
Judge Johnson, I just want to state for the record on national TV that Max Kellerman said the only player in the history of the NBA to ever win unanimous MVP is irrelevant to him. He does not factor it
how many
into
people
as much.
vote on a regular season MVP?
The only one
half
to
the
ever
team,
do it.
But half the
of the
league.
greatest players to ever walk this planet.
So until the
it doesn't
and
matter.
then when the games got super high leverage, the better player,
Mr.
LeBron
Williams.
James, won.
That doesn't matter.
Mr. Williams,
I can't.
Did Michael Jordan ever win that award?
No.
Unanimous?
No. Never.
How about LeBron James?
No. Never.
Great.
How about
so
Kareem
before the
Abdul-Jabbar?
games mean
No.
something, you
How
want
about Magic Johnson?
No, Mr.
You
Johnson.
want to know
never.
who
How
wins
about
unanimous
Russell
MVP
Westbrook?
of
No,
the
I can
games
say
that mean
for a
less?
fact.
Go
Russell
ahead.
Westbrook never unanimous MVP.
Okay.
This guy won a unanimous MVP of the NFL preseason. That's almost the equivalent.
But I
all
can
the
count-
teams
this-
make the
this
playoffs.
counts.
As we wrap this up, Mr. Kellerman,
Yeah.
the flip-flopping has got to stop,
has to
or else
stop.
you'll be
There's
in
no
contention.
flip-flopping. It's completely consistent.
You'll
I'm
be
going to
in
bring out
contention
sock
if the
puppets.
flip-flopping
Crazy you
doesn't
are.
stop.
I'm going to bring out sock puppets to explain it to you two like in a play. All right. Is Richard Sherman blaming Patrick Mahomes,
We'll get to that next.
Josh Allen? Who else for Lamar
Give this guy
Jackson's contract?
60
else to
years.
say.
I'm going to give you 60 years in a hole.
60 years of life.
Well, all the geniuses were misunderstood in their own time. It's okay.
That's what they all
It'll
think,
take
too.
generations to catch up.